NetSuite can be a 6-month implementation, and it could be probably quadruple as expensive as somebody working with Fulfil. The developers have the real-time accounting knowledge to actually help you with implementation immediately. The cost savings are tremendous, and I think it's going to scale really well. So I feel like we see this being, the long-term solution as well, too. I've done like 2 different NetSuite implementations before, and a lot of the times I feel like you go through NetSuite implementation, a lot of people are very good at like selling you something, or, they don't really actually understand they understand maybe even theory, but they haven't actually gone through like practice and application of like a bank rec or a lot of these other nuanced elements. And the one thing I would pay Justin and Saksham a huge compliment on is, when you're asking them for assistance with something, I can tell they've actually done the accounting work before, and they understand, the application base for this, and that this is what you're actually going to be doing with this, not just, some functionality to like checkbox and be like, yeah, it works. They're very diligent, and they understand your need, and they have gotten on several calls and sort of really walked things through all the way with us. So very helpful, much better than some of the other resources I've seen applied in like a NetSuite, where they use like third-party contractors to kind of bring them in. And yeah, it can be kind of a cluster, because then they have to coordinate. They don't really even understand your business enough or care. They just kind of want to like pack up shop and leave town. And I feel like with Fulfil, we've definitely gotten, a robust implementation, and they actually care about, is this working for you? So that is a really nice, sort of white glove experience. I still feel like our success is still very much important to Fulfil, where a lot of other companies would kind of pack up the tent and move the circus to the next town because they're kind of worried about generating the next line of revenue. It does feel like it's nice that we still have open communication. Before we couldn't track POs, we were kind of doing that all manually on a spreadsheet. Now we can actually track POs and apply payments that automatically flow for approval in Fulfil, and then go to bill.com for payment. And once payment's applied, it then comes back into Fulfil and marks the PO as paid. So from an operations perspective, it is very useful that we're not, going over here to manage AP, and we're looking in here to see, what's been paid in the books. And then, operations has got their list of POs they want. It's like, it is all flowing through with, 3-stage verification kind of a thing. So all parties involved are getting great insight. Procurement, operations, and accounting, all talking to each other, all seeing the information flow and approval status. So that's been really cool. The malleability of being able to generate reports easily out of the system, and sort of like really things that would have been very complicated in Xero previously, being able to like look at revenue by SKU and things that people were like or we were using like a third party adjacent app to like have to pull those things out and tie it back in. And it honestly never really quite works. The one good thing about Fulfil is all of those financial implications sort of are reconciled at an item level. So we can pull revenue by SKU, by channel. That does create a lot deeper insight for our sales team and revenue team. So yeah, they're very happy with that aspect. The integration into bill.com and having the bill pay flow, not just for POs, but for like your everyday expenses. It is a huge time saving compared to where we were at with Xero, where we were just like manually reconciling a bank statement. It does almost everything I feel like that you really could want it to do. I feel like in terms of functionality, there's not one thing I would point to at NetSuite, certainly not at SAP, that I would go, oh, well, as NetSuite does do this and that doesn't do it over here. So yeah, I feel like it's very powerful. It is a true to form ERP. I mean, operations is living in here. Accounting is living in here. It's not something where it's like just an accounting software talking to everything else. Like all parties are living in, this platform. So I feel like that's a huge compliment to Fulfil that it can handle that. A lot of companies, they get on like NetSuite and they go, well, we'll probably go to SAP in like 3 years. And I don't see that being the necessity for where we're at with Fulfil. So I think it's very scalable too.